Good evening and welcome to the highlights of the Vanarama National League. So Stockport tighten their grip at the top of the league with a win over Aldershot, but we're going to start at second place Chesterfield. Richard Henwood reports.
After a crucial midweek win over Notts County, Chesterfield faced another test, this time against a Southend team in excellent form. But thanks to Jeff King, the home side had just the start they wanted. Steve Arnold in the Southend goal, beaten by that shot, but he came up with a big save from Akwasi Asante to keep it at 1-0. And then it was the turn of Chesterfield goalkeeper Scott Loach to take the limelight. In his 500th career appearance, he conceded the penalty which gave Southend a way back into the game. And then almost saved the spot kick from Sam Dolby, which made it 1-1. Despite that, it looked like Loach's landmark appearance would end in victory, thanks to Calvin Miller's header with 13 minutes left, his first goal for Chesterfield. But a crucial win was snatched away from them in the closing minutes. Fraser Kerr, who'd been introduced as a sub just a minute earlier, with an own goal which stretched Southend's unbeaten run to 12 league matches and dented Chesterfield's title ambitions.
Our lads have got nothing to feel down about. They've been a credit to the club this week. There's a lot of adversity around our club in terms of personnel, injuries, suspensions. But today, to a man, they've done everything they could that could try and win a game. So the supporters will be a bit disappointed. But as everyone knows, there's a long way to go.
Solihull went into this game on their best run of the season, unbeaten in 7. But an early mistake put them on the back foot against Kings Lynn. 10 minutes played when Munashi Sundaya had the quick thinking to make the interception and the composure to set up Malachy Linton. The Lynn team in big relegation trouble had something to cling to. They did more than just protect the lead, as a goalkeeping error gave Luis Fernandez the chance to score his first senior goal. It was a shock to the system for Solihull, who won their previous 3 home league games, and when Alex Gudger found himself in space, a big finish looked likely. Kings Lynn's first away league win for 5 months was in serious doubt. And sure enough, with just a couple of minutes left, Callum Howe came up with the header which earned Solihull a point from a 2-2 draw. Notts County's playoff ambitions were dented by that midweek defeat at Chesterfield, so something to settle the nerves was needed. But when the chance came midway through the first half, courtesy of some excellent work by Cal Roberts, Ruben Rodriguez fluffed his lines. And just a couple of minutes into the second half, it was Yeovil who took the lead. Confusion in the county defence, but there was still plenty to do when the ball rolled into the path of Alex Bradley about 30 yards from goal and made it look easy. But County had scored in all of their previous 15 home league games, and they kept that run going with an equaliser from Alex Lacey in the 4th minute of stoppage time. They'd rescued a valuable point.
Scott Loach's 500th appearance there, one to forget when you look at the conceding the penalty and also not saving it.
Great achievement though, and the hardest position on the pitch. I'll back the goalkeepers union. Yeah, just a bit rash, just trying to gamble and go for it when it was a penalty. Probably disappointed he didn't save it, but that's the life of a goalkeeper, unfortunately, Jeff.
Danny, also someone else who'll be disappointed, Fraser Kerr. Obviously a difficult cross to defend, but to put it in your own net and cost your team 2 points.
Yeah, it's always difficult to defend those because you're tracking back in, and if you see the clip, if he lets it go, it's a tap in anyway. So he has to get something on it. And unfortunately, when you're diving in at that sort of point of the game, it's going to be a tough decision to make for him.
Yeah. Chris, looking at the Solihull Kings Lynn result, Callum Howe saving their blushes at the end there.
Yeah, tough blow for Kings Lynn. My son Cameron was out there today fighting with those boys to try and get a win, and it felt like a hammer blow that, 2-0 up, but for Solihull a great point at the end, yeah.
Yeah, with the Notts County game as well, a last minute winner, a last minute equaliser actually.
I'll tell you what, it's a massive point that.
Yeah.
That is a massive point. It really is. It's a huge point for County that.
I mean, Matchday, they're still not out of the top 7, are they?
No.
Every now and again, they look like they're gonna come out of it. Grimsby again winning, but they're just in there. Do you fancy them to keep hold of that
I just think it's a pressure club, isn't it? And points like that today in 90+4 will seem like a win. I know that you know they need to win, but that's a brilliant point in my opinion.
Yeah, I think, look, Notts County are a good side, and I was fortunate enough to be there at the start of the season, and they play some great football. They've got some really talented players, and when you miss the chance they did in the first half and then you go 1-0 down, sometimes you can fall out of a game. But credit to the character of the team and the quality they've got on the pitch, and they get the point. And like Chris said, sometimes when you get to the end of the season, you look back at those games and realise how crucial those points actually are.
Yeah, we know that Weymouth have turned their home form around recently, but obviously it's very difficult when Halifax under Pete Wild roll into town. Tom Skippins will report on this one for us.
Weymouth have struggled to get going at the Walks this season, but after 6 straight defeats, they have managed 3 home outings unbeaten. That run looked under threat against a Halifax side who travelled well. Martin Woods took aim, he was unlucky, then Kean Spence was off target. The Shaymen were shading it and they made it count early in the second half. An unlikely goal hero, just Tom Bradbury's second of the season and his first since September. Halifax had won here 5-1 last season, no repeat of that, but a comfortable victory was wrapped up by a moment of real quality in the last minute. Jamie Thomas's cross finished by Zach Durnley on his debut. Halifax timing their promotion push very nicely. Torquay were unbeaten in 5, but that run included 3 draws. They needed more to push towards the playoffs, and this was a promising start. Connor Lemonhay Evans' header kept out by Ellery Balcom. Bromley brought their worst form of the season to Plainmoor, 3 games without a win, so this should have helped. Joe Lewis's tug on George Alexander late in the first half, bringing the first red card of his senior career, but Bromley couldn't benefit. A stalemate the Gulls were forced to settle for.
Always disappointed with that type of decision. I felt there was a covering player, but we've not had a lot of luck with decisions recently. But I can only be proud of the boys and the club because we're not giving up any hope. We've still got hope, and we played a very direct team there and coped with it.
Woking sacked manager Alan Dowson earlier this week, but they were soon under pressure again. Craig Ross superbly keeping out Luke Waterfall's header, and Eriko Sousa was denied by Moussa Diarra. The Mariners thought they led just before the hour, but Harry Clifton clearly fouled Ross before Tristan Abrahams followed up. But Grimsby got it done deep in stoppage time. Abraham's cross turned in by substitute Manny Desaway on his home debut for the club. Bedlam at Blundell Park, but a cruel start for Cards caretaker Ian Dyer.
Chris, Torquay suffering there with Joe Lewis being sent off. What did you make of the red card decision?
I think there was just about cover, as Gary articulated there, so probably a little bit harsh. There you see there's a covering defender, so technically it shouldn't have been. He'll learn from it though. First red card, he probably got too tight and got turned, and that's why the red card came ultimately.
And Danny, Grimsby going well. They're 6 unbeaten now, making a charge towards the top 7 of having started the season so well. But that last minute winner, how important was that?
Yeah, they're the moments you look back on and they're crucial. And I think they had a little spell where everyone thought that they'd blown it. But you know what, credit to Hurst and the team. They've turned it round and they've had some great wins recently. Yeah.
So we saw today at the EBB Stadium how Aldershot were very, very close to the relegation places, and Stockport wanted to expand their lead at the top of the Vanarama National League, knowing that Chesterfield have drawn. So we've got some more from that game after this break. Welcome back to the highlights of the Vanarama National League action from today. Time to remind ourselves of the action from the EBB Stadium between Aldershot and league leaders Stockport. Watching this one for us, Adam Virgo and Adam Summerton.
Crankshaw's cross. Madden. And Crankshaw! Oh, that's a tidy finish. Didn't panic at all, did he? Sumptuous little chip to give Stockport the lead. He had gone 11 games without a goal. Ollie Crankshaw.
Well, he's involved right at the start of this move by putting the ball into the box, but you just look at the awareness of him to keep his run going. I mean, there certainly is a close call, isn't there, for him to be offside, but when you're in that position there, the audacity, the confidence to chip that over Dylan Barnes.
Sarcevic. Crankshaw, the goal scorer. It's a gorgeous cross that, and it's a fantastic header as well. Brilliant Stockport goal. And the league leaders have doubled their lead after 26 minutes.
Well, it's absolute dominance at the minute from Stockport County. It's men against boys. There's no pressing at all. And that is a brilliant ball in there from Ollie Crankshaw and Will Collar. Something that he's certainly added to this game this season is that late run into that midfield and into the box.
Sarcevic, Madden, Crankshaw beyond him down the right. Jennings has made the run through the middle. This is Sarcevic, this is Crankshaw, and it's come off the goalkeeper Barnes for a corner.
That was a fluent counter-attacking play there from Stockport County, and they're picking up really good positions. Well, save in the end there from Barnes.
Oxlade-Chamberlain with the throw-in. Crosdale got a head to that. It's a good cross. Diving header clear, and it fell to Glover, who couldn't get it on target. One of the few openings that they've had Aldershot.
Well, these are the moments, Adam, that it needs to fall to you. They need to hit the back of the net to give you any momentum or any game change.
2 goals, clean sheet, great first half. Went a long way to winning the game in the first half. Pleased with the second half in terms of we asked for control really. Weymouth last week at home played really well in the first half, went in front, lacked control in the second half. So we did that. We can be more ruthless and get another goal or such, but we look pretty solid. And regardless of goals you score, goals you can see, you only take 3 points, and 3 points was the biggest, the only important thing for us tonight, and we've got that. You know, we didn't fold. We stuck at the task, and it was always going to be a difficult challenge. We knew that, and we've just got to be a little bit more clarity in our decision making at times, a little bit more confidence as well. They're very open, very expansive, Stockport, and they make it very difficult. They make the distances large, and you know, not too many mistakes on their part, and we have to expend a lot of energy to try and keep up with that. So when we do win the ball, we've got to make the most of it, and unfortunately we couldn't do that tonight.
Dan, a lovely dink from Crankshaw for Stockport's first, but slightly offside, so Aldershot was slightly unlucky there.
Yeah, and like we've said previously, it's those sort of things go against you when you're down at the bottom of the league, and but as you said, it's a fantastic finish, and I think they'll be disappointed with the initial defending, and really it should have been cleared, but as I said, clinical from Stockport.
Chris, lots to like about Will Collar, certainly his performance today, but 9 goals in his last 15 appearances. Yeah, some player.
Good pedigree, Brighton youth player, and this is his time to really shine, and I feel like you can see it in his performances. He's a goal scorer, but he's also strong. He's a physical player. Really impressive. All 3 midfielders today, with Crosdale at the bottom, Hippolyte as well. Excellent.
5-point gap at the top now between Stockport and Chesterfield. Dan, they're going to take some stopping.
Yeah, 100%. And when you're in those sort of positions, you want to have everything under your control, and basically everything's in Stockport's hands. If they carry on doing what they're doing, I don't think anyone will stop them.
Yeah, Dave Challoner upset in the last game about some potential complacency he could see creeping in. What reaction did he get today?
He got a hard-working team. He got a high press. He got players that wanted to win the ball back immediately. He got a performance in and out of possession that sort of intimates that they're going to be right there. Now, there's a lot of clubs in this league that will want to have an influence on that, but you've got to say on today's showing and what we've seen on the BT Sport cameras recently, they have been excellent, Stockport.
Well, Eastleigh Wildstone comes up next, and Dave Beckett reports.
At Silver Lake Stadium, Danny Whitehall delivered the first goal of a new era. Eastleigh won up under new boss Lee Bradbury just 10 minutes in as they look for their first win since early January. A first half full of promise which was fulfilled after the break when things really took off. Ryan Hill lifted the ball over Wealdstone's George Wickens and the Stones appeared to be sinking fast. Some of their buoyancy was restored by Charlton loanee Charlie Claydon, but the impact of that terrific solo goal was soon diminished by Tom Broadbent. In just over an hour, Eastleigh matched the 3 goals they'd managed in the previous 10 games put together. And still time for one more, courtesy of captain Danny Hollands. Bradbury's career in charge of the Spitfires was off to a flyer. Maidenhead's good run hit the rocks midweek when they lost 3-0 to Dagenham and Redbridge. A shock off the back of a 4-1 victory at Kings Lynn, where Josh Kelly scored twice. He was close to getting straight back on song. Not quite as close though as Altringham's Ryan Colclough in the second half. So neither club's leading scorer could add to their tally and the deadlock remained right to the finish. No strangers to bumping along towards the bottom last season, Barnet can empathise with Dover's plight but showed no sympathy. Rhys Grego-Cox off the mark for the club with an absolute cracker and Dover fans will have feared what was to come. After the break, the bottom club were taken apart. Adam Marriott increased Barnet's lead and having waited since November for a goal on home turf, wasted no time adding the next. Dover on the brink of conceding 70 goals this campaign. Henry Wood's foul offered Ephron Mason-Clark the chance to inflict that indignity. Adam Parks delayed the inevitable. The former Barnet keeper was doing his best but couldn't prevent Rhys Greenwich from moving the score onto 4 after all, as the Bees seemed determined to make Andy Hessenthaler's return to his old club as painful as possible. The Dover boss saw Grego-Cox round off the match in the same way he'd started by making the most of Sam Beard's superb cross. And with Hessenthaler's players no doubt more than ready by now to hit the road back to Kent, Sam Woods notched up a 6th in stoppage time, making this Barnet's biggest league win for 17 years.
Chris, Rhys Grego-Cox there with a goal that you would have been proud of.
Yeah, I didn't get many, but that's what you want to do, isn't it? That's what you want to do. You want to see yourself scoring goals. I have to say, looking at this game, I mean, you have to have sympathy for Dover and their fans. It's been one arduous season, hasn't it?
I mean, they brought a lot of fight into every game.
Yeah, of course they have.
Maybe that's starting to ebb away.
Yeah. Where'd you go with it? You know, the players are trying hard, but they need to wipe the slate this season and just think as a football club, where do we go? Because, you know, we've got a lot of sympathy for them, haven't we?
Dan, Eastleigh, 3 goals in their last 10 games, and then they get 4 today under new manager Lee Bradbury. That's a bounce, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And sometimes new managers can have different effects on games, but I know Lee Bradbury well and he's a great character and he's got experience at this level, and I think that obviously from Eastleigh's perspective it's a great appointment and they've shown today that they're definitely reacted to him.
Absolutely.
Some good goals there.
Yeah, some good goals.
Look at Danny Holland. I don't think he'd be claiming that one as a goal, but it was a cross. But good old pro Danny Hollands.
It might have been a cross. Let's have a little look at the Vanarama National League table. Is the top end of things. So Chesterfield with that draw today and Stockport's win over Aldershot here at the EBB Stadium means that we've got a 5-point gap at the top there. Grimsby's win nudges them closer in to the pack, the top 7, but not quite breaking into the playoff places just yet. Looking at the bottom end of the table, we can see that Weymouth in the relegation places there. There's still a 9-point gap between them and safety. Aldershot Town's defeat means that they wasn't able to open up a bigger gap there. A lot of people will look at that and feel like, you know, it's going to be very difficult for any of those, whether it's Weymouth or Kings Lynn, to escape it, but still a lot of football to be played. So next Saturday at 5 p.m. we've got Boreham Wood against Chesterfield. Boreham Wood not in action today. They'll be looking forward to getting back to National League action after their FA Cup 5th round exploits, doing the National League proud. So what do we make of the title race? How many horses are there in it, Chris?
Plenty, no doubt about it. Dave Challoner and his staff will not be getting carried away. They're too hardened, they're too experienced as coaches, and the chasing pack are doing exactly that,
well,
chasing.
Who's going to push him closer?
Wrexham and Chesterfield, the same, honestly. And I still think my old club, Grimsby Town, will be there or thereabouts, the Mighty Mariners. So I'll be rooting for them, but plenty of clubs still chasing.
Yeah, lots of draws today as far as the top 7 are concerned. Halifax have further cemented their place in the top 7. What do you think they can do this year, Dan?
Well, I think that what Pete does really well is they just go about their business. They're not this glamorous, high-spending, big juggernaut club that they probably used to be, but that plays into their hands. And I think what they do really well is they've got a model which gets results, and Pete's doing a great job, and I'm sure that they're going to be in and around it.
Chris, 3, potentially 4 clubs are going to miss out on those playoff places. Who do you expect to squeeze in?
I can't be too biased and go for another ex-club with Torquay, but there's what there are a group of clubs where you get momentum just at the right time, and there's no better time than this time to sneak into the playoffs, because more often than not, teams that have been in there a while don't get through. Teams that get in it right at the death. I mean, I can speak from experience. We did it at Torquay. We didn't have a great season. We got into the playoffs at the end, got promoted at Wembley, and no better place to do it. It's stressful for the fans and stressful for the coaches, no doubt, but I can say as a player, what a way to do it through the playoffs.
And Bromley have been in the top 7 for the majority of the season, but they've just slightly gone off the ball. I don't think they've got a win in their last 4 games now.
Yeah, and it's difficult. Obviously, there was a lot of media coverage around Woody's sort of potential moves to Gillingham, and I know that he's been approached by some other clubs, and it's great that he stayed at Bromley, but sometimes that can unsettle the club, and I'm sure they'll say that that's nothing to do with it. It seems to have had an effect on them, but they've got a good squad of players, and they've got some real firepower in the sense of finances, so I still think they'll be up there challenging.
Talking about Boreham Wood, Chris, now they've had their FA Cup run, fantastic run, done the league proud, but they've got lots of games in hand. You'd rather have the points on the board, though, wouldn't you? And how do you think the FA Cup run will affect their league campaign? They've played a lot more games than most people.
I think it'll be positive. He's done a fantastic job. They've got some good players, and they have done the league proud, no doubt about it. So, looking forward to seeing how they handle it. But games in hand, no problem. They've got enough firepower to do it.
An exciting title race. Great to see who's going to finish in playoff places as well. The Vanarama National League giving us everything that it seems to continuously give us. But big thank you to Danny Searle and Chris Hargreaves. Thank you very much for joining us. And for yourself, thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next time.